2 words: speed and angels. With multiplayer servers like Tempest, Blue Flash, and the soon-to-be king of strikers, Razbam F-15E Strike Eagle coming to market, there has been a large surge in F-15C pilots taking to the skies in the DCS Flaming Cliffs 3 Classic. If you've been around the block once or twice, then you should know about the F-15C, and it really bores a deep and painful hole in my heart to see people make a clown of themselves by cruising out there with triple fuel tanks, hugging the ground, and not pushing this beautiful piece of aerodynamic magic to its fullest. So, to help all those out there trying to learn the Eagle, this video will dive into the mission statement of the F-15C and how to apply these ideals. At any altitude, at any speed, in any weather, at any time, against any threat. The McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle was designed for the sole purpose of complete air supremacy in any combat theater. And before you say, well, Price, some squadrons still practice dropping bombs, myself and many others will simply say, not a pound for air to ground. This is heavy fighter territory, baby. Lightweight multi-rolls need not apply. When you strap into that F-15 cockpit, your one mission is to swat every single would-be enemy pilot out of the sky. The F-15 was designed to be one of the highest and fastest flying fighter jets the US Air Force had ever employed, with one of the most powerful and advanced airborne radars of the time to boot. The raw power and large size of the F-15 allows you to fly in a myriad of ways, but as far as I'm concerned, there are only 2 correct ways of flying it. The first is a standard combat air patrol configuration. 2 external wing tanks, and whatever missiles you can bolt onto the jet. Pretty standard stuff. But I do stress not taking the 3rd centerline tank. Sure, the extra gas sounds nice, until you realize that the centerline tank on the F-15 creates just as much drag as both of the wing tanks combined. You'll be humping around 4 tanks worth of drag for the price of 3. Not very efficient. You won't need the gas anyways. With this setup, you're holding over 20,000 pounds of fuel, and you'll be gently sipping that gas even in afterburner when you're flying as high as you should be. The second loadout, which is a personal favorite of mine, is the interceptor configuration, consisting of just a centerline tank and only the belly-mounted missiles. You're throwing the throttle all the way forward and staying there until the enemy you're after is dead. You aren't even mounting the wing pylons for this because all they add is drag. How you do this is simply by starting the engines in the middle of the rearming process once the belly missiles are loaded. Otherwise, the wing pylons will load and just be empty. Needless to say, this is quite a short duration loadout, but the raw amount of energy you can build up is worth it to rip missiles off at speeds that would cause lesser aircraft to disintegrate. I like to use this on servers like Blue Flash when the front lines are getting a little close for comfort and the team needs the enemy cleared out quickly. So give this loadout a try next time you take out the F-15. I promise it'll open up your eyes to just how good this thing can be when used properly. How do we use the F-15 properly though? Well, as I said before, it's all about speed and angels. So let me introduce you to my best friend, RUTOWSKI. The RUTOWSKI climb is a flight profile used to achieve and retain the greatest amount of speed and altitude possible in the shortest amount of time. It looks a little something like this. For this example, I'll be using the intercept loadout I talked about before. This climb profile starts by taking off and accelerating to Mach 0.9 in full afterburner, followed by a pull-up to whatever climb angle allows you to maintain at least Mach 0.9 in the climb. In the F-15, this is usually at least 30 degrees depending on the loadout. As you climb, you'll need to decrease the angle to maintain your speed up to your peak altitude. In the F-15, this is around 37 to 40,000 feet. Here, you're going to either level out and accelerate, or enter a shallow dive until you've broken through the transonic region of flight. The transonic region ends at about Mach 1.2. From there, you'll accelerate to Mach 1.5, and once there, you'll pitch up slightly, up to about 7.5 degrees, and continue to climb as high as necessary. Using this profile, you can routinely hit speeds in excess of Mach 1.5 at altitudes upwards of 45,000 feet in as little as 5 minutes from takeoff roll to altitude, and in as little distance as 50 nautical miles. profiles. You can even adjust this climb profile for purely fastest time to climb by eliminating the post-climb acceleration portion if all you want is quick altitude while maintaining energy. The great thing about the RUTOWSKI is that it can be applied to any afterburning jet using the optimal acceleration altitude for that jet. So give it a try next time you go out for a flight. Overall though, you'll see a lot of success by staying around 35,000 feet. This puts you at a pretty optimal altitude to perform supersonic sprints, conserve fuel, and especially to scan for threats with your radar, which should be your primary instrument of search in the F-15. Having an AWACS is nice for the bra calls, but it's not always timely or reliable. Now, I know that a lot of people in this community are allergic to altitude, especially those of us that spend a lot of time in the PvP environment. You're afraid of sticking out like a sore thumb. You're afraid of the growling Sidewinder, Operator Drewski mountain crawler, the flanker that hugs the ground using nothing but datalink and IRST to launch invisible infrared missiles from behind their mountain peaks. But what are they going to do when you're screaming across the sky at Mach 2 50,000 feet? With the F-15's recently improved radar, you can see fighters as far out as 85 nautical miles in high PRF and 45 nautical miles in medium PRF. You can and will outrange everything that challenges you with your superior energy. And the mountain crawlers? How are they supposed to hide behind mountains when you're flying so high they might as well be small hills? Use that radar for what it was made for. Look down and shoot down. Now, to be fair, you can't just fly around like a headless chicken. You still gotta use your brain out there. Use all your sensors. From the radar, to the RWR, to the AWACS calls, and even your good old eyeball. The environment is constantly changing, but at least the tips I've given here should help you along with really stretching those legs and making you a more confident Eagle pilot. So, if you liked the video and want to see more, leave a like and consider subscribing. It's very much appreciated. If you have any thoughts or questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.